Okay, this is a video for yet another bike I'm selling. I seem to go through bikes at a hell of a rate, buy them in the winter, sell them in the summer. I had actually planned to keep hold of this one. I had a 57,000 miles ZZR1100 that I got to replace my VFR 800, and it was a far more enjoyable bike. Toured to Highlands of Scotland on it, absolutely loved it, so decided to replace it with a better one. Got hold of this one, and then unfortunately went for a spin on a ZZR 1400, so now I'm saving my pennies for one of them. So I want to sell it, and I want to go all modern, fuel injected and 200 brake horsepower. So yeah, this is 23,000 miles. It was 22.5 when I got it, and I've just 23,065 at the moment, so I've done about 500 miles on it. That'll be about right. I've gone through couple of tanks of petrol. Right, when I got it, it'd been sitting for a while, 23,000 miles. I think if you look at the MOT history, that'll show you that it's gone nowhere pretty much for the past 5 or so years, I think. And because it's carbureted, when I got it, it was taken over at 3,000 RPM and wouldn't hold an idle when it was warmed up. So I've sorted all that, I've cleaned all the carburetors out, I have balanced them, I have, when the engine ran at an audible tick at low revs, maybe only up to about 3,000 RPM, and I stripped the bike completely, sorted the valve clearances, had to replace 5 or 6 shims. I changed the oil, I checked the alternator, the back of the nut on the back of the alternator can come loose and cause a tapping noise. And then the very helpful people on the forum said it's your cam chain tensioner, advance that one click. I did that, and the thing just silenced immediately and sounds perfect. So yeah, stripped the bike. I did everything. I dropped the sump, I checked the big end bearings because they can go. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So yeah, so at least it's all been checked. So to tell you this, the only other problem with it was the exhaust, which was rotten at the collector. So I, for the princely sum of £200, bought a fairly immaculate Nexus stainless steel exhaust system, which I fitted, new gaskets, and it's lovely. So there you are. It's a little bit of a polish up there. Sorry, we're in there. It's always been kept in the garage. Obviously, the guy who had it before me kept it in his, and I've kept it in mine. It's obviously, you can see that nothing's corroded. It's a very well kept motorcycle. I've got receipts for a whole lot of stuff that he did, including I think he had the front calipers rebuilt. These are pretty much immaculate. And bits and pieces that he's had done to it. I do all my work myself, so I'll give you a list of what I've done, but it's basically change the oil, change the filter, sort the carburetors out, the cam chain problem, done the valve clearances, changed the fluid in the brakes. The pads were all fine, everything was hunky-dory. Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. Oh, the other one, there you go. So hopefully you can see this. It's been dropped in the guy that I bought it from's garage, so even though he hardly went anywhere on it, he did manage to drop it in his garage. So this beautiful paint scheme, I don't know if you can see it. Hi. You know, there's no way of really showing this paint scheme up. It looks dead flat in here, but then when the sun comes out, it's a sparkly metal flake that's in it, so it sparkles, you know, really quite well. And then you put it in the shade, and it's a really deep burgundy colour. It's absolutely gorgeous. So yep, there's the bike. I think it's cold. It was running earlier on, but let's just check. Yep, stone cold. So let's start her up. Make show you that she works. So choke on. There you go. Because she's halfway. There you go. just didn't need choke, so maybe just a little bit. Starts, runs fine. It's a very nice sounding bike. I think the exhaust is the right balance between, it does have a bit of gruffness to it, but it's very quiet, very smooth, sounds very civilized in operation, which I think is what you want for something like this. So yeah, all in all, so there you go. Once she warms up, she'll tick over about just over 1, I think. So I think the carburetors are pretty much sorted. I haven't really had a chance to go out and take it long distance. What I bought it for is we were going to go to Norway this year, so we were going to ride to Norway and back, which this would have done in absolute comfort. Obviously that's not going to happen now with this COVID nonsense. So in reality, I've got these two. There's the ZX10R for doing silly things on, and I suppose there's the VFR 750 Rat for doing equally silly things on. So between the pair of them, that does the shopping, that does the enjoyment. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to replace it with a ZZR 1400, and that's going to do touring duties. So yeah, do you know, I wish I'd never ridden it. This is great. It's very old school. It's very long. If you jump off that and jump onto that, it feels like a bus. It isn't a bus. It's perfectly acceptable. It's just that that's what you got, 15 years of development between the pair of them. 2090. So yeah, 15 years of development between the pair of them. And this is obviously a much heavier bike. Interestingly, I jokingly say that to 100 miles an hour, that's quicker than that. I don't think it is, but the thing is, because there's a reasonably long wheelbase, that goes forward. That points itself at the sky. That just throws itself up the road. It has a surprising turn of speed. When I got hold of the first one, not so much surprised on this one. This one is actually slightly faster than the older one. You know, the engines are pretty much bulletproof, so they don't lose a lot of power over time. But this one feels tighter, feels more together, feels more responsive. And yeah, the first time I opened it up, going on the motorway, I wasn't expecting the level of acceleration this is capable of delivering. You've got it down as an old bike. It's an old heavy bike. You know, it's a big tourer when you think about it. There's a reason this was once the world's fastest motorcycle, and it's because it takes off like shit off a shiny shovel. So yep, this is the anyway, just general condition. So hopefully told you enough about the bike. It's pretty much without blemish. It's obviously an old bike. It's got scratches. It's got a bit of discoloration on the frame there. It is a very the seat's in great condition. The tires are good. The exhaust is immaculate, as I pick up on. There's some slight marks down here. You can see down there's something there, but it would probably take it out. Mudguard, these are very rare actually. The tabs break off on them because this is low mileage. This is still in one piece, so it's all good. All the fixings are original. Clock works, everything on the instrument panel works. I was a bit worried because it had been sitting for a while that the tank would have rust inside it. Not a bit of it, or one key fits all. So I don't know if you can see in there, but it's pretty much immaculate in there. So yeah, all in all, I think sort of time walk machine, low miles, and these go pretty cheap. I mean, the high miler ones, you know, you're going to pick up one of these for about £1,000, aren't you? I imagine this would go for somewhat more, but yeah, time will tell. So yeah, hopefully that's enough to give an overview of the bike. Yeah, one thing to say, I suppose, is that I've got the Givey luggage there, but I'm selling that separately and I've already promised it to somebody. I'm getting 250 quid for it. yeah, that's what he's paying. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, if you came off and came around and offered me more, I would. I'd tell him it was lost in a fire. But I have promised it to somebody, and so therefore I'll take that off. And what I'll replace it with is that Rentec rack, which is quite handy. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully get a reasonable amount of money for it, because ZZR 1400s don't come cheap. And yeah, happy bidding, and any questions, just give me a shout. Thanks.